Hey there, in this video I'm going to talk about how to tune your instrument using the tuning pegs. Now I am going to say that this video is intended for people who are just starting out. Tuning accurately with tuning pegs is an advanced skill that takes several years before students are ready to do it. They have to be able to really tune accurately by ear. So if you're in that position, this video is not intended for you, but if you're in that position, you probably don't need a video to help you anyway. This is aimed more at people who are just starting out, who've been playing their instrument for maybe a year or two or even less. And what happens if you have a string like this one that just goes floppy on you? It happens sometimes because these pegs are fit in by friction only. The peg is shaped like a cone, and the hole into the peg box is also shaped like a cone, and they only fit by friction. Now, one of the things that happens is when you get a student quality instrument like this one, and this is a pretty good student quality instrument on par with what you might get if you went into a reputable music dealer. So it's definitely an instrument that a student could be successful on. Please don't go after one of those instruments that cost $80 to $100 or $200 on the internet. Those things are really bad and they usually cannot be tuned. All right, but this instrument is a perfectly fine instrument for a beginner. But one of the places where they cut corners to keep costs down to beginner levels is they don't always take the time to really fit the tuning pegs well. These instruments don't always tune super well by the pegs. And young players who haven't been playing for a long time usually don't have the skills to tune accurately with pegs anyway. But still, sometimes we get in the situation where you have a string that goes floppy because the peg slips. It particularly happens in the winter when heaters start coming on and the air dries out, the wood shrinks a little bit as the moisture evaporates, and your pegs will start to slip from their friction grip. So you have to deal with this sometimes. Also, I have one string here where the fine tuner has gotten screwed all the way in, but my string isn't quite high enough. So what do you do if your fine tuner gets screwed all the way in, or I've set one up where this tuner is screwed all the way out, and it's not quite low enough? So what do? You have to use the pegs at that point. So I'm going to go over how to do that for your instrument. There's a couple of cardinal rules. The first rule is it is very easy to break strings if you're tuning with the peg. I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm going to take my loose string here, and I want you to watch how much I'm turning this peg and listen to how much the note is changing as I turn it. You'll notice that I'm barely turning that peg and the string pitch is moving a lot. The main mistake that students make, or people who don't have experience turning pegs, is they don't realize what a small amount you need to turn it, and they just grab it and they turn and pop. The string breaks right away. You need to turn the pegs only a very small amount usually, and just a little bit at a time, right? That's the first thing to realize. The second rule is never, ever turn a peg unless you are making sound on the instrument. Because getting a string in tune is kind of like aiming for a target. You have a particular note you want to hit, and you've got to be right on it. Well, let's just say you're shooting targets with a bow and arrow or a rifle or a BB gun or something. You take aim, you're looking down the sights, and then right before you shoot, you close your eyes and then take your shot. There's no way you're going to hit that target. Getting the string in tune is kind of the same. You always have to be listening, because if I play my string, let's get it kind of close, and I'm wondering, well, I need to go a little bit higher, so I stop making sound and I turn it. Well, you have no idea if you're turning it too far or not. You always have to be making sound when you turn the peg. All right? Okay, so this is the procedure for dealing with a loose floppy string. So I've got my string loose, it's floppy, the peg has slipped. What do I do? First thing is you need a tuner. I've got Tuner.ninja up on my computer here, but you can use any tuner. There's free downloads for your phone or your tablet, any kind of tuner, but you have to have one. That's first. Second, you have to realize you only need to get close. I am not even going to try to get this string perfectly in tune with the peg. Now, if you're an advanced player, that's different. But if you're starting out and you just have to deal with this loose string, I only have to get it close. And then I'm going to finish with my fine tuner. All right, if you're not sure how to tune with fine tuners, I have a video on that I'll link in the description. All right, so I'm going to turn over the other thing. How are you going to hold it? You'll see, like advanced players, you'll hold it like this and play with their bow and turn the peg. Don't do that. Don't even worry about that. That's a set of advanced skills, and these pegs that come on more beginner quality instruments probably aren't going to hold for you anyway if you try to do it like that. So you want to take the end button of the instrument, place it on your belly button, and brace it here. Now, if I've got my D string, so I have to turn this with my left hand, so I'm going to hold with my right hand here and brace the instrument, and I'll be plucking the string with my right thumb as I turn it only a little bit at a time, and always make sound, and watch my tuner until I get it close. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start tuning my D string. I don't have any sound yet, but that's okay. Here the sound is starting. I'm on a B. I'm on a C sharp. There, I'm close to a D. I'm going to stop. I'm as close as I need to be. Now, something else that I forgot to mention, as I'm turning it, and this is important, I'm going to take it back out again, I am turning and pushing at the same time. I'm not pushing very hard, but I'm definitely pushing a little bit. If I don't push while I turn, then the peg is going to slip back out. So I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to start making sound. Nothing yet. There it goes. I'm starting to have some sound. I'm turning and pushing. I'm on A, B, C, C sharp. Here I am, close to a D. I'm going to stop. I'm going to finish now with the fine tuner. And there it is. I have my D string in tune. You only have to get it close. Always make sound. And then finish with the fine tuner. Right now, if you're good enough to do the fine tuner with the bow, at that point you can switch over to the bow and it's fine. All right. So now the next question is, what do I do if I have a fine tuner that's screwed all the way in and my note isn't quite all the way there? So I'm trying to tune my A string, but you see the tuner says it's a G sharp. I need to go farther, but it's not there. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and loosen that fine tuner up until I have plenty of room left on the fine tuner. So now I'm going to pluck the string, and it's down around a D. It's way low, so now I'm going to follow the same steps. I'm going to make sound. I'm going to turn just a little bit at a time while I gently press in, and I'm going to get it just kind of close to an A. Tiny little turns is all it takes. There we go. I'm within half a note. That's close enough because I loosened that fine tuner all the way. I'm going to finish with my fine tuner. Now I've got my A string in tune. Let's say that I've got a string where the fine tuner is all the way loose and it's still too high. Like this is my G string and the G isn't low enough, but my fine tuner is loosened all the way. Well, now I'm going to take my peg and I'm just going to turn it back towards me just a tiny bit. Doesn't take much. And you can see now it's down in the F range, and I'm going to use the fine tuner to get it up to a G, and now I've got it in tune. Now I do want to say one other thing, and I forgot to do this. I've got my A in tune. There we go. Make a little small adjustment at D. My G. All right, so that's really close. So basically I've got my violin in tune. Here's something you need to understand though. I'm going to take that D string back out like it's floppy. Check out what happens to my G and my A. The A is sharp and the G has gone way sharp because we've lost tension on this string. This is really important. Students sometimes will tune the strings they can and leave that floppy one alone, but then you're all messed up because that floppy string throws the whole instrument out of whack. You always want to take care of your floppy strings first. That's really, really important because I'm going to tune this D string back up, always making sound. there. It's really close. I went past it a little bit, but that's fine. I just got it close, so I'm going to loosen it some. There we go. Now that A string is back in tune. And the G string went basically back in tune. Fixing the floppy string fixed the other strings because it evened out the tension on the instrument. So you always fix the floppy string first. All right, so a quick review. If you need to turn the peg, number one, just turn it a little bit. Very, very small turns at a time. It's very easy to turn too far and break your string. That's number one. Number two, always making sound and listening. Looking at the tuner so you don't go too far. Always making sound. Three, you only need to get close. Finish it up with the fine tuner. All right? So if you're at the level where you're ready to tune accurately with pegs, then you probably need a better instrument than this one. You're ready for a step-up instrument, and you'll have your ears developed to be able to do that. Like I said, that takes several years. So anyway, I hope this video has been helpful for you. If this video was helpful, please do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.